Call Halalium, La Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Waharakah Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who I learned the truth from, and to all the faithful Akim throughout the four winds continue pushing. And this video right here is going to be dealing with history in the Church of Berea and the Acts of the Apostles, or the Acts chapter 17. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into who the Church of Berea was and what they were into, and also and explain why a lot of Israelites, or go into why a lot of Israelites out there don't study. They really don't know what's going on. They just followers. Okay, they just followers. They just go listen to every Israelite camp out there and are completely blind. They don't know what the mark of the beast is, the RFID microchip. They're not in the spirit of prophecy. The women are out of order. People get on the comment boards. You got young men getting on comment boards, just spewing out all types of madness, getting on live streams, trying to be seen of men. And that's a no-no in its truth. Okay, we're not here to please men. Okay, we're not here to please men. But I want to bring out how this church in Berea, which of course were Israelites, the Church of Berea, that let's just get into it. And I'm gonna explain myself further in this video. But let's go into Acts chapter 17 and start at verse 1. And the point is like around verse 10. Now when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where was a synagogue of the Jews. And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them. So the apostle Paul and the apostles went to what? Thessalonica. And 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the scriptures, opening and alleging that a Mashiach Yahweh Shai must needs have suffered and risen again from the dead. So the apostle was expounding on what? To other Israelites, resurrection. The Israelites that were in Thessalonica, about the resurrection of Yahweh Shai. And that this Yahweh Shai whom I preach unto you is a Mashiach. And some of them believed and consorted with Paul and Silas. And of the devout Greeks, a great multitude, and of the chief women, not a few. Right, those devout Greeks were Israelites. Okay, because you got to look back during the time of the Hellenistic period. Israelites were Hellenized. They were being called Greeks. Okay, whether they were Greek-speaking Jews or whether they were called Hellen, which were Israelites that were severely Hellenized, just like Timothy's father. He was an Israelite by blood, but he was called a Hellen, a Greek, because he was into the Greek customs. Just like we have our fathers here in America. You can't tell them nothing. They don't want to hear it. They just are just occupied in their own belief, so you can't tell them nothing. So what? That's a form of being Hellenized as well, being Americanized. And it says here, verse 5, but the Jews which believe not moved with envy. Now these are wicked Israelites that were moved with envy. They ain't want to hear it. They ain't believe it. They ain't want to believe about the resurrection of Yahweh Shai. Could have been Sadducees, could have been Pharisees, it could have been any other sect of Israelites. They don't want to hear it. Just like you have now. You got a lot of these Israelite camps out there calling Great Millstone the bums of the Israelite community. Well, guess what? They don't want to hear us. They don't want to hear nothing we got to say neither. And it says here, but the Jews, verse 5, Acts 17 and 5, but the Jews which believe not, moved with envy, took unto them certain lewd fellows of the baser sort. Those baser sort, what? Thugs, just like they have now. Okay, you had a time that Polite try to get Crip gang members to come at Great Millstone. Okay, those are the baser sort, showing you that the black community is out of order. Okay, they're all about violence, and they try to get Crips or gang members against men that didn't put their hands on nobody. They're not violent, but all that we're doing is bringing out what? Precepts. We're bringing out scriptures, history. We're going into the scriptures. We're breaking down what the scriptures mean. Okay, we're breaking down scriptures. And the basis word are like thugs, like I mentioned, and gathered a company, right? Gathered a company, whoever it may have been, thugs, whoever, just people that disagree with the Bible, and set all the city on an uproar. Don't people come up there when they see us speak? You can have like one Edomite come up there, right? Now, against, we're bringing out scriptures telling them he going into slavery, or you could have 1, 2, 3 Jake come up to us. Then all of a sudden, you got a whole group of Jakes coming up against us and having, like, coming up against us saying, oh, you guys are full of it. You guys, man, I believe in the Africanism or Pan-Africanism. I believe in the Kemetic gods. They're the gods I follow, you know, and things like that. So they'll come up and spew out madness, which the Lord does say he struck these 2/3 with madness. They're crazy. They're struck with craziness. But anyway, and sought to bring them out, my bad, and set all the city on an uproar and assaulted the house of Jason. Yeah, Acts chapter 17 and verse 6 and verse 5. And set all the city on an uproar. That's what 2/3 do when they come up. They try to act all tough, get all people against all these other people against us, and assaulted the house of Jason and sought to bring them out to the people. And when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren or Achium unto the rulers of the city, crying, these that have turned the world upside down are come hither also. Right, and that's what this gospel does. It stirs up demons, whom Jason hath received, and these all do contrary to the decrees of Caesar. Because you had Israelites into the Roman government, or the Roman Caesars, or you know, sellouts. They were trimming their waist to seek love from these governments or the higher elites of during that time, just like you got now. You know, you got Slim Thug demanding people to go get, you know what, the flow, because he needs to make his money for Esau, Edom, and the elites. Or he needs to make his money and doing these performances on stage. So we're pretty much tapping into everybody's pockets, so to speak. We're pretty much stopping everybody's money flow with this gospel. And these people do not hate it one bit. So if these people were not affected by the gospel, why come at us? If it's not true, then leave us alone. Obviously it's true, because you got to keep on messing with us, right? So it says here, and the brethren of me, verse 7 again, saying that there is another king, one Yahushai. Of course, there was no letter J's back then. Okay, the letter J came in 1524, circa AD. And even Yahushai said, what, to Israelites back then, matter of fact, grab it. This is Matthew chapter 22 and 21. They say unto him, Caesar's. So it was going into a coin, because, you know, you had the Roman Empire like they do now with the quarters, dimes, pennies, nickels, whatever it may be, the gold dollar, or gold, so-called gold-plated dollar. They say unto him, Caesar's, you know, the inscription or the coin. So Yahushua was always against these Pharisees that sold out to the Roman government. And this is what Yahushua said. I'm not going to get all deep into the history of this particular situation here, but I'll read it. Then saith he unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. Because these Pharisees weren't serving the Heavenly Father. So Yahushua said, okay, render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's. And those Caesars that were ruling were Edomites, just like you have now. When you go into the book of Isaiah, the 30th chapter, you got Israelites that bow down to what? The Caesars. They bow down to the pharaohs of this world, which are the Caesars. The pharaohs, Caesars, those are all Edomites, the rulers of this world. So our people refuse to turn to the Heavenly Father, refuse to turn, but they'll rather go serve money. They'll rather go serve cigarettes. They'll rather go serve weed. They'll rather go serve pills, being adulterers, being murderers, being extortioners, being gangbangers, being scoffers, mocking the prophets. So Yahweh Shah said, look, man, you give to these devils what the things that are of these devils. I'm not about that. I'm about my father's business. And Yahweh Shah and the prophets are about their father's business. That's why you see us out there passionately bringing out this word, because we are about our father's business. So Acts chapter 17 and verse 8. Salakia. And when they had taken security of Jason and of the other, they let them go. Verse 10, and the Achaim immediately sent away Paul and Silas by night unto Berea, who coming thither went into the synagogue of the Jews. So let's look at Berea. I should tell you North Greece, G960.
Strong's G960. Berea.
Well watered. That's the spirit, because what? Out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Out of the prophet's mind shall flow rivers of living water. What we speak, well watered. Something that's well watered is not dry. A city in Macedonia near Pella at the foot of Mount Bermeus, a place in Macedonia, the coastline. That was in North Greece. So that was an Israelite community in Macedonia or North Greece, who coming thither went into the synagogue of the Jews. Verse 11, Acts 17 and verse 11. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind, meaning they were open-minded to receive the scriptures, not like you niggas that buck up against this truth. Oh, I don't want to hear this. I ain't got to hear what y'all got to say. So they come up scoffing. Simple as that. They come up as scoffers, and the Lord going to push you to death for scoffing and mocking the prophets. We know that's going to happen. We just have to be patient and just wait. You know, because 2/3 are made to be taken. These brute beasts are made to be taken. You niggas that don't want to get in order are made to be taken. Okay, and the Most High said what? I will set them in order before thee. The only ones that are going to be in order are the Israelites, the elect men, which we hope to be one of those men. But you 2/3 are not in order. The rest of this world is not in order. So it says here, these were more noble than those in Thessalonica. Let's look at that word noble. More noble. G2404.
Strong's G2104. Eugenes.
Eugenes. Well born of a noble family, noble-minded, generous, high in rank, well born, more noble. Belonging to having or showing personal qualities of high moral principles and ideals, righteous, virtuous, good, honorable, honest, upright. Okay, yeah, let's search it out. Let's hear what the Apostle Paul is saying about Yahweh Shah's resurrection. Let me go into it. Let's search these things out. Okay, and that's what it's going into. Honorable, righteous, virtuous, good, honest, upright. And there's other synonyms as well as, but let's go back into this. So they had a readiness of mind to search out these scriptures, to search out the word and search the scriptures daily, whether those things were so. And that's why we know that these are elect men too, the church of Berea, because here in Great Millstone, or the brothers that affiliate with Great Millstone, which we all have the same doctrine, search scriptures out. Oh, matter of fact, let me finish reading this. And search the scriptures daily, whether those things were so. So if the spirit of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai are resting upon you, you're going to search these things out. You're not going to be like the rest of the Israelite community, scoffing, getting on a common board. Don't study to show themselves approved, like 2 Timothy's, I believe 2 Timothy's 2 and 15 say. This 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. Study to show, matter of fact, let's start at verse 14. Of these things put them in remembrance, charging or commanding them before the Lord, that they strive not about words to no profit, just like a lot of these Israelites, but to the subverting of the hearers. And that's what the Apostle Paul was doing. What does it mean to subvert? G2692.
Strong's G 2692. Catastrophe. Catastrophe.
Oh, my bad. It means to overthrow, to subvert. It means to overthrow the hearers. Overthrow, destruction. That was a slip of the tongue, no big deal. Of the extinction of a spirit or of consecration. Okay? And that's what subvert means. And that's what a lot of Israelites were doing. But to the subverting of the hearers. So they were striving about words to no profit, and they were overthrowing the hearers. Here we're trying to what? Feed the sheep. We're trying to bring you brothers in so you can hear what this truth is. The Yahweh's resurrection, receiving new bodies, having a kingdom where the Israelites are going to rule forever over these nations. That's what we're telling you people out there. We're telling you Israelites out there. Okay? And that's what a lot of Israelites do. They subvert the hearers. So that was a slip of the tongue. Matter of fact, let me see what the NLT version says. Remind everyone about these things and command them in God's presence to stop fighting over words. Such arguments are useless and they can ruin those who hear them. And that's what a lot of these Israelites do. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. They catch the prey. They devour the hearers. They devour potential elect members or potential men. But anyway, verse 15, 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15, study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh Yahushai, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So when you have this truth in you, you're not going to be ashamed. You're going to know exactly what you're speaking about. But a lot of these Israelite camps don't go into the mark of the beast. They don't go into root words. They don't go into charagma, the root word of charagma, karax. They don't go into these different words. And that's why they stumble. They're always constantly being ashamed. And that's why one of the reasons why we could always confound these other Israelite camps. And verse 16, but shun profane and vain babblings, which a lot of Israelite camps do. They babble, for they will increase unto more ungodliness, right? Evil men shall wax worse and worse. And that's what happened. That's what you're seeing with Tazariak. That's what you're seeing with General Yohana. That's what you're seeing with all these other Israelite camps out there. So we study to show ourselves approved. So verse 11 again, Acts 17 and verse 11. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica in that they received the word with all readiness of mind and searched the scriptures daily whether those things were so. Therefore many of them believed, also of honorable women, which were Greeks, and of men not a few. These were Israelites that were Hellenized, because that city right there, I believe they dedicated their time, or they dedicated a lot of the Israelites that were Hellenized in that particular city of Berea or Macedonia. They dedicated their time to Alexander the Great and the Greeks, these Edomites. That's why I called us Greeks, because we were in a Greek state of mind. Just like somebody be like, oh, you're not an Israelite, but you're an American. That's people wanting us to not call ourselves Israelites, but Americans. And that's what the Christian community does. They're not going to call themselves Israelites. They're going to call themselves Americans following Christianity, showing you that these people are dumb. They're dumb, deaf, and blind. They don't study. We're Israelites by nature, not Greeks. And that's what I wanted to get. Okay? They don't study. Okay, a Greek woman, a Gentile woman, not a Jewish. No, it was an Israelite serving Hellenistic customs. That was it. Okay, in a wider sense, the name embraces all nations, not Jews, that made their language, customs, and learning of the Greeks their own. That happened as well. Okay, which the Israelites did. So we were getting called what? Greeks. We were being called Romans. We were being called Greeks. Just like now we're being called Americans, but we're Israelites by blood, because we're woken up to know who we are now. And that's something that Esau Edom cannot do, is put us back to sleep. And it says here, by extension, a Greek-speaking person, especially a non-Jew, you had that too, because when the Greeks Hellenized the known world at that time, they Hellenized the Israelites as well as Elamites, the East Indians, and a lot of these other nations. That's true. But you had Israelites that were being called Hellenistas, which were Greek-speaking Israelites, and also Hellen, which we were just into the Greek customs. That's it. As simple as that. It's not nothing hard to break down. And if you don't study or read, of course, you're gonna buck up against the truth to saying, okay, well, are these guys, they're not even gonna attempt to even search out the scriptures like the Church of Berea did, and that's the history lesson I want to make, referencing what or in reference to the Church of Berea, because they studied to show themselves approved. So that was it. And with that, shalom.